Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be able to address this Connectivity Forum today. Improving connectivity within the Western Balkans, as well as between the Western Balkans and the European Union, is key for growth and jobs and brings clear benefits to the region's economies and citizens. Since the 1990s, the EU has been supporting the Western Balkans to construct and modernize their transport and energy infrastructure. To date, we have provided more than 11 billion euros in grants from the European Commission and loans from the European Investment Bank. This has resulted in an overall investment of almost 22 billion euros. In 2015, we increased the focus on connecting the region by defining core transport and energy trans-European networks. We set aside an extra 1 billion to support the connectivity agenda across the region between 2015 and 2020. By providing more than 880 million euros in the form of investment grants for 39 infrastructure projects in the region, the EU has already committed 88% of the initial 1 billion euro pledge. With the endorsement of projects during the yearly Western Balkan Summit from Vienna in 2015 to Poznan in 2019, we have been able to leverage investments worth 3.2 billion euros. This includes the loans provided by our partner international financing institutions through the Western Balkans Investment Framework. The most recent connectivity package, endorsed in Poznan in July 2019, included 8 projects with a total EU contribution exceeding 180 million euros and the leveraging of a total investments over 720 million euros. The 6th package, fulfilling the original pledge of 1 billion, is expected to be endorsed still this year. And our work not only continues, we are stepping it up. In October, the European Commission will adopt an economic and investment plan for the Western Balkans that will, on one hand, support the longer-term socio-economic recovery of the region, and on the other, its economic convergence with the EU. The Western Balkans needs strategic and targeted investment in areas that will enable them to develop their economies in a sustainable way and increase their convergence with the EU in the coming years. There will be a very strong focus on trans-European transport and energy links and upgrading infrastructure crucial for economic development. The green transition and the digital transformation will play an important role, as well as support for an economy that works for the people, support for education, strengthening health and social protection. This is a clear commitment of the European Union to boost the regional competitiveness. But our commitment needs to be complemented by the commitment from the region, and we must work together. Firstly, this means that the projects should focus on the established planning mechanisms in the form of single project pipelines. We have to deliver on the most important and carefully selected investments which bring tangible benefits to the citizens of the region. Secondly, with public funds becoming increasingly scarce, the beneficiaries of the EU funds need to carefully explore possible sources of funding when selecting and prioritizing their investment projects. Most importantly, the authorities have to ensure that they have fiscal space to secure the necessary loan financing and implement the projects on time. Last but not least, we have to closely work together on implementing EU-compatible reforms and soft measures. To ensure maximum benefits is generated from the infrastructure projects for people and businesses alike, we need to focus on the connectivity reform measures. These require the Western Balkans to adapt their regulatory and legal frameworks by, for example, simplifying border crossing procedures, prioritizing road safety measures, improving the rail sector, as well as putting in place maintenance plans both for road and rail. These are the measures that make a difference in people's everyday lives. These reforms will help to reduce accidents, most importantly save lives, decrease waiting and traveling time, and improve the overall situation in the transport sector, which eventually will have a positive impact on environment too. In the energy sector, reform measures, for example, will establish a regional single electricity market which will reduce energy costs and increase energy security. And here, regional cooperation to advance the economic integration is key. For example, economic integration means integrated border control operations. Your truck cannot queue for hours at the borders. We are there to build bridges between countries. And we know it can be done. Just take the example of the green lanes established during the COVID-19 crisis to facilitate the transport and trade of essential goods within the Western Balkans and to the EU. This is one of the best examples of regional cooperation and good coordination. Therefore, let me advise you to continue in the same spirit of cooperation in other areas. This is the only way forward towards an economic growth and EU integration. We also need to ensure that coordination among all institutions and actors involved remains at the highest level, and this includes the EU institutions, the Western Balkan partners, the Transport Community Permanent Secretariat, the Regional Cooperation Council, CEFTA, international financial institutions, civil society, and other relevant actors. Another challenge we are facing in the region is the intensifying competition from different international players. It is not surprising that given the huge investment needs in the region, the presence of other players is becoming more and more prominent. It manifests itself through investments in strategic infrastructure, especially in the energy and transport sectors. The risks stemming from these engagements in the longer term cannot be underestimated, and it is our responsibility to review our role in this new and changing environment. Allow me to once again assure you that the EU remains committed to development of connectivity between the EU enlargement and neighbourhood regions to support and foster stability, security, and better conditions for economic development. The upcoming economic and investment plan will further boost the investments in this area. Ladies and gentlemen, it is only by implementing key reforms, aligning your respective legislations with the EU one, that your countries will be able to compete in an increasingly global world and attract new investors which will contribute to the economic growth of the entire region. The implementation of the connectivity reform agenda is not just a complementary tool. It is key to success. Think decarbonize, think digital and connected, think user-oriented solutions. In all the countries I visit Europe and beyond, I see this new transport revolution. The Western Balkans cannot be excluded from it. You should not watch the world move, you should seize the opportunity and move with the world. Thank you all for your time. I wish you all a fruitful discussion with a positive outcome.